Écoscéno is a non-profit. We're based in Montreal and we're a social enterprise. Our goal is to accompany the cultural sector in its transition to the circular economy. It was founded by 4 women professionals that had been working for 20 years in the industry, and we were almost 40. Each of us had kids, and we were really thinking about how can we improve the way we work. We currently have an 800,000 revenue, and we have 9 full-time employees. When we discovered circular economy, we found very concrete strategies and solutions that we could make into services to allow the professionals of the cultural industry to work in a more circular context. One of the problems that existed before Écoscéno is that there was no alternative to sending materials to landfill. In the cultural industry, we often build very big sets. For instance, if we do a commercial, we're going to build a set that's going to be used for 4 hours and then it's going to be thrown to waste. In terms of a theater production, it can be like up to 4 tons of materials for one show. So the impacts are mostly on the materials that are used for very short periods and then thrown away, not because they're waste materials, but just because the producers don't need them anymore. So now we have, one of our services is a training service. We've developed very close links to the theater schools in Montreal, the National Theatre School of Canada that's based in Montreal, but also college levels, where it's very important to train the students because they're very, very eager to learn to create in a new manner. And we want the students to come out of their training and be completely ready to create in a new system, a circular economy system. And we also aim to scale out and be able to spread the knowledge in English as well, to make sure that the transition is possible and that we share the solutions. We have a counseling service to be able to work closely with creation teams and offer solutions. And with this counseling service, we've noticed that we at the scale of a theater project, for instance, of a play, we can be circular up to 96% circular at the end, because from the very beginning of the creation process, we think about the fact that we want to avoid things going to waste, and we want to introduce a lot of reuse materials. And if the materials are not going to be reused by the same company, they can be reused by others, either within the cultural sector or outside of the cultural sector. We have an 8,500 square feet facility where we collect materials. On the one hand, we have trainings and eco-design counseling, and on the other hand, we collect materials and we're able to resell them through our boutique. We've also developed in the last year a resource sharing service to make it possible for several theater companies to share their inventory. Écoscéno was founded at the end of 2019, 5 months before the pandemic. So there were great challenges, but also it was also an opportunity because the cultural sector was stopped in Montreal and was very, very curious to know what we were proposing. In 2022, we had to stop part of our services, the reuse services that need a lot of resources in terms of space and in terms of people to be able to sort inventory and resell the stuff we have. And at that point, we needed to look at our economic model again. The business model we have now, and we believe can be very stable in the next few years, is to have about 50% of our revenues from the sale of our services, and the other revenues are coming from grants, donations, and sponsorships. One very important and very exciting part of our work is actually to lobby and be able to contribute when there's a work on cultural policy or circular economy policies, and being able to do the link between the data we have, the work we actually concretely do, and the policies that are constructed in order to move in the right direction altogether. Through our work, we collect the data and we're able to show the speed at which the cultural sector is transforming and going towards a more and more circular way of producing and creating. We've developed very practical and concrete solutions that we're going to share in a practical eco-design handbook that's going to come out in June of 2025. We first developed the training program and the eco-design counseling service in French in Montreal, and now we're scaling out and making it available in English because we want to amplify our impacts, and also we want to share the solutions and make it possible to change as fast as possible in other provinces in Canada and all through the world. We've started in the theater sector, which was closest to us, and then we opened up to museums, and now we're scaling up to the movie industry and the TV industry, because actually the impact in terms of the amount of waste generated is much higher in those industries. Also, the resource sharing system has a lot of potential for festivals in Montreal and outside of Montreal. We've discovered regenerative design and regenerative economy, and now we want to work on positive results and not only reduce the impacts but make a greater contribution to nature and society through our work. The cultural sector has a lot of power in showing how things can be, how we can dream of a new society, and also of transforming the way it does things. It's very visible and inspiring for people. So it's very strong to change the cultural industry and to show that it's possible, it's feasible, that we have the power to actually change things and not only dream of a better society, but actually transform the society we live in.